Hi, my name is Elisa with Picasso and Wine. Thanks for joining me. Let's paint a cute little mummy. For supplies, you're going to need a standard rectangle canvas, doesn't matter the size. And I like to use a larger flat, a medium flat brush, and a smaller round. You're also going to need a pencil for some sketching. The paint colors we will use are going to be white, you're also going to need a little bit of black. You're going to need a brown shade. I'm also going to use a bright neon yellow. It's not necessary. And a little bit of cobalt blue. The last color that we'll be using is a yellow ochre. It's kind of a Dijon mustard color. So I'm using one of my bottles as a circle that I can trace the eyes of the mummy. So just find something that's the correct size, and we're going to sketch on 2 round circles, a little above half canvas. Once we've got the eyes in, then we are going to sketch in the cloth that wraps the mummy. And we're just going to do some really loose, wiggly lines. And you want these lines to go over the very top of the eyes and the very bottom of the eyes. We just want to see the center of the eyes peeking out between the cloth. And these are just going to be really sort of irregular shapes, stretching from one side of the canvas to the other. Once the sketch is done, then I'm just going to take my eraser and the areas that of the eyes that we don't want to see those lines outside of those bandages, we're going to erase those lines. Next up, we are going to paint in the center of the eye. And so I'm going to take one of those a medium flat brush, and I'm going to make a really bright green using that yellow and just a tiny bit of the blue. And we're going to take this color and we're just going to paint in that entire eye area. And of course, you don't have to paint your mummy's eyes green. You could paint them red or purple or orange, whatever color you like. And now we're going to work on the cloth bandages. So I'm going to use my larger flat brush, and we're going to be using some of the uh, gold color, that Dijon mustard. And where I drew my lines, I'm just going to take that brush, and I'm not trying to be perfect about this, just want to be a little messy. And we're going to go right over those lines, and you can even blur it out on down into that center area a little bit if you'd like. But just have fun with this. We're making this look old and weathered. And we're just going to work those edges of the canvas as well. And I'm going to just fill in this area a little bit heavier in between those eyes. And as soon as I'm done with these upper areas, I'm going to clean off my brush, and we're going to blend this in just a little bit with some white paint. So I'm just going to apply that white in those white blank areas and just kind of lightly blend that in. Okay, so once I get this whole upper area blended in with the white, then I'm going to carry on with the lower half. Same thing, just nice and messy on those lines. Fill in those edges. Clean off that brush and then blend in with your white. Next step, I'm going to switch over to the medium flat, and I'm going to use some of this brown paint, and we're going to deepen up these lines just a little bit. So I'm going to go right over where I used the mustard, and just going to deepen up this line just a little bit. Fingers are always good to help blur and blend lines. And we want to make sure to get all those lines, and we want to make sure to get those edges as well, just like we did with the mustard. I'm going to work down in that center area. And this step goes pretty quickly. So once that brown is added, then we are going to go just a little bit darker. So we're going to grab some of our black, and this is going to go right over the brown. We don't want to cover up the brown completely. We're just emphasizing that line a little bit. So have fun with this part. It's going to make this mummy look old and so you can be a little bit messy and you want to get in some of those corners where those bandages are crisscrossing. We also want to define that right above the eyes. And we want to add some of this black on the inner edges of those eyes and in between them. Don't forget those edges. And just keep working on down, just following your original lines. And he's starting to really look kind of spooky. Once you've got all those lines done and your edges, we're going to come back in and we're just going to add a few little lines, just little broken lines. Some are long, some are short. It just gives it some texture. Okay, so once those bandages are done, let's give this mummy some personality. I'm using my round brush and some black paint, and we're going to paint in that inner black area of the eye. And we're almost there. Let's put in some finishing touches. I'm going to use some black paint and my small round brush. And just find an area on your canvas where you have a spot for a little tiny spider. I'm going to put mine right here. So just a little black dot for his body and a curvy little line where his web is coming down. He's hanging from it. And then spiders need 4 little legs. And I'm going to add one more, maybe over on this side. Same thing, just a little dot, 4 little legs. And this part is optional, but I'm just going to use black paint and find an area to sketch in the word boo. All right, and some final little touches. I'm going to use just a little bit of white, and I'm just going to dot in a couple of eyes and the spiders. And I'm going to use some white to add a little highlight in the eye. And you want to place this highlight on the same side and same place of both eyes. And the last step, I'm going to highlight my lettering. So I'm going to take some of that bright yellow and I'm going to add some white to it. I want this to be nice and bright so it stands off of the dark areas on the background. And I'm going to use this to highlight the right hand side of the lines. So coming down the right hand side of the bee. And give it a little highlight on the top too. And I'll highlight the right hand side of the inner part of the O, and then the right hand side of the outer part of the O. And it's really going to show when you get over to where it's dark. And then I'm going to give the exclamation point a highlight on the right hand side as well. And you can see it and it pops off the background. And we are done with this mummy. I really love how it turned out. This is such a fun and cute kid-friendly painting. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much for joining me for this tutorial. I hope you have a wonderful Halloween and hope to paint with you again soon.